Okay, so picture this. You're walking around 100,000 years ago, and you look around and you see other humans. But here's the thing. They're not quite like you. They're other species of humans.
Like totally different species. Like we have different species of foxes, right? Like the gray fox and the red fox.
Yeah.
Imagine that, but with humans.
It's like a sci-fi movie or something, right?
Exactly.
But at that time, it was just reality. I mean, there were at least 6 different human species walking the earth.
Yeah, and they're all interacting and competing and, doing their thing.
But now flash forward to today.
Here we are.
It's just us Homo sapiens, like we won the evolutionary lottery or something.
So what happened, right? How did we go from all these different human species to just us?
Yeah, that's a pretty wild thought, isn't it? I mean, it makes you wonder why we're the only ones left.
Yeah, and the even weirder thing is that we went on to do things that no other species has ever done, like building these massive cities and empires.
Yeah, I mean, how did we even manage that kind of large-scale cooperation?
Right, like other social animals like chimpanzees, they can only really cooperate in small groups.
Yeah, we're talking like maybe 150 individuals max.
Yeah, but humans, we somehow figured out how to cooperate on a massive scale, like millions of people working together.
It's crazy when you think about it.
It really is.
And that's exactly what we're going to dive into today. How did Homo sapiens become the ultimate collaborators and build these complex societies that span the entire globe?
We're going to try to answer that question by looking at the book Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind by Yuval Noah Harari.
Yeah, this book is packed with mind-blowing insights into what makes us humans tick and why we've been so successful as a species.
And one of the most fascinating arguments that Harari makes is that our ability to cooperate on this massive scale all comes down to one thing.
And that's our ability to believe in what he calls imagined realities or common myths.
Okay, so imagined realities maybe sounds kind of out there, but stick with me on this one.
Yeah, I mean, people probably hear that and think like, oh, you mean we're just making stuff up?
Well, it's not quite as simple as that, but you're kind of on the right track.
Yeah, I mean, how else can you explain millions of strangers working together for a common goal, right?
Yeah, it's like, how do you get people from all different backgrounds with different experiences to believe in the same things and work towards the same ends?
It's not like they're all best friends or anything.
Exactly. And Harari argues that the answer lies in these shared beliefs, these stories that we tell ourselves that give our lives meaning and purpose.
Okay, so give me an example of what you mean by an imagined reality.
Sure. Think about religion for a second, like Catholicism, for instance.
Okay.
Millions of Catholics around the world cooperate to build churches, run schools, and even go on crusades.
Right, and they've never even met each other.
Exactly. So what's holding them together? What's motivating them to cooperate?
I mean, they all believe in the same God, the same set of doctrines.
Exactly. They share a common belief in a higher power in the teachings of the church.
And that belief, that shared story, is what allows them to trust each other and work towards a common goal.
Right. It's not just about personal relationships. It's about a shared belief in something bigger than themselves.
So religion is one example, but what about something like nations?
That's another great example. Think about 2 Serbs who have never met before.
Okay.
They might be willing to fight and die for each other, even though they have no personal connection.
Right, it's not like they grew up together or anything?
But they both believe in the Serbian nation. They believe in their shared history, their culture, their flag.
Yeah, and those shared beliefs create a sense of solidarity and a willingness to sacrifice for each other.
And it's not just Serbs, right? Think about any nation you can think of.
Yeah, every country has its own national myths, its own stories that bind people together.
Exactly.
And these myths don't have to be based on anything concrete.
Right. It's not like there's some objective scientific evidence for the Serbian nation or the American nation.
It's just an idea that people believe in, and that belief is powerful enough to motivate them to cooperate on a massive scale.
Absolutely. And even our legal systems are based on imagined realities.
Oh, yeah. I mean, think about it. Lawyers who don't know each other can still work together to defend a complete stranger.
Right. And what's motivating them to do that?
I mean, they're not doing it out of the goodness of their hearts or because they're best friends with the defendant.
It's because they both believe in the law.
They believe in the concept of justice. They believe in human rights.
And all of those concepts are imagined realities.
They only exist because we humans have created them and agreed to believe in them.
And the same goes for money.
Oh, yeah. Good point. Money is just pieces of paper or digital entries in a computer.
But we've all agreed that it has value, and that allows us to trade goods and services and build complex economies.
And so much of our lives is structured by these imagined realities that we don't even question them anymore.
It's like we take them for granted. But Harari's point is that we need to be aware of them.
Yeah, I think it's so easy to look at other cultures and think, oh, their beliefs are so strange. They believe in all these spirits and gods.
But then we fail to see that our own beliefs are just as imagined.
Yeah, I mean, we might not believe in spirits and gods, but we believe in corporations and nations and human rights.
And all of those things are just as much products of our imagination as any ancient myth.
So the question is, what makes these imagined realities so powerful?
Well, one way to think about it is that they provide a framework for cooperation.
They give us a set of shared rules and values that allow us to coordinate our actions and achieve common goals.
And they also create a sense of identity and belonging.
They help us to define who we are and where we fit in the world.
And that's incredibly powerful because it gives us a sense of purpose and meaning.
So it's not just about cooperation, it's about creating a sense of shared identity and purpose.
Right. It's about building communities and societies that are based on something more than just individual self-interest.
So how does this all tie back to our original question of how Homo sapiens became so successful?
Well, Harari argues that our ability to create these imagined realities is what allowed us to cooperate on a scale that no other animal has ever achieved.
It allowed us to build these massive societies and empires and to dominate the planet.
And he uses the example of Peugeot to illustrate this point.
Okay, so how does Peugeot fit into all of this?
Well, on the surface, Peugeot is just a car company, right?
Yeah, I mean, they make cars, they sell cars.
But Harari argues that Peugeot is actually an imagined reality.
Okay, I'm listening.
It's not just a physical entity like a factory or a car.
It's a complex network of stories and beliefs that we've all agreed to believe in.
Like the idea that Peugeot is a legal entity, that it can own property and enter into contracts.
Right, or the idea that Peugeot has a brand identity, that it stands for something.
All of those things are just stories that we tell ourselves, but they have real-world consequences.
Yeah, because if enough people believe in those stories, then Peugeot can become a powerful force in the world.
It can employ thousands of people. It can generate billions of dollars in revenue. It can influence government policy.
And none of that would be possible if we didn't all agree to believe in the imagined reality of Peugeot.
So Peugeot is just one example, but you can apply the same logic to any corporation or institution.
Governments, religions, universities, they're all imagined realities that only exist because we humans have created them and agreed to believe in them.
And that's what makes us so unique as a species.
Our ability to create these shared fictions is what has allowed us to achieve so much.
It's the secret to our success.
But it's also important to remember that these imagined realities are just that, imagined.
They're not based on any objective truth.
They're just stories that we tell ourselves.
And that means that they can be changed.
We can choose to believe in different stories. We can create new imagined realities.
And that's both exciting and terrifying, because it means that the future is not predetermined.
We have the power to shape our own destiny.
But we also have the responsibility to use that power wisely.
Because the stories we choose to believe in will have a profound impact on our lives and on the future of our planet.
So let's choose wisely.
Yeah, and to help us choose wisely, I think it's important to understand how these imagined realities are created and maintained.
And Harari outlines two main methods.
The first is to never admit that the order is imagined.
Right. You always insist that it's an objective reality, something ordained by God or nature.
Like, for example, the idea that men are naturally superior to women.
Or the idea that some races are superior to others.
These ideas have been used to justify all sorts of oppression and inequality.
But they're not based on any scientific evidence. They're just stories that people have made up to serve their own interests.
And the second method is to constantly reinforce the imagined order through education and propaganda.
You teach children the stories of your culture. You build monuments and statues to commemorate your heroes.
You create laws and institutions that reflect your values.
And you use the media to spread your message.
And over time, all of this reinforcement makes the imagined order seem real and natural.
It becomes so ingrained in our minds that we don't even question it anymore.
And that's how these imagined realities can become so powerful.
They shape our thoughts, our actions, and our entire world.
But if we're aware of how these imagined realities work, then we can start to challenge them.
We can start to question the stories that we've been told.
And we can start to create new stories that are more just and equitable.
And that's the power of imagination. It's not just about creating fictions, it's about creating a better world.
So to wrap things up, let's go back to our original question of how Homo sapiens became so successful.
We've seen that it all comes down to our ability to believe in imagined realities.
But it's not just about believing in any old story. It's about believing in stories that allow us to cooperate on a massive scale.
Stories that give us a sense of identity and purpose, stories that inspire us to work towards common goals.
And those are the stories that have made us the dominant species on Earth.
But it's up to us to decide what stories we want to believe in going forward.
Because the future is still being written.
And the pen is in our hands.
And that's a pretty powerful thought, isn't it?
It really is.
It means that we have the power to create the world we want to live in.
But it also means that we have a huge responsibility.
Because the choices we make today will shape the future for generations to come.
So what kind of world do we want to create?
That's the question we all need to be asking ourselves.
And it's a question that we need to be asking ourselves constantly because the world is constantly changing.
And the stories we tell ourselves need to change with it.
So let's keep our minds open. Let's be willing to challenge the status quo, and let's never stop imagining a better future.
And on that note, we'll leave you one final thought from Harari.
He says that the real difference between us and chimpanzees is not our intelligence or our physical abilities.
It's our ability to cooperate.
And that cooperation is based on our shared beliefs, our imagined realities.
So the next time you interact with a stranger or participate in a social institution, take a moment to think about the stories that are binding you together.
What are the imagined realities that are shaping your world?
And are those stories serving you well?
Or is it time to start writing a new chapter?
That's something for you to ponder.
And we'll see you next time for another deep dive.
Until then, happy imagining.
See you.